Peace, peace, peace. I was telling the guard that Allah was hollering at us, right? And the guard could bear witness to this, right? True and living. Knowledge of wisdom. The guard was hollering. First, he was hollering at the Muslims, letting them know what was going down, how it was going down, and what you're supposed to be dealing with. The whole 9 yards, right? And then he was also making knowledge born from like 62 to like maybe 63 or something to that era. In that era. As much, once he started making knowledge born, he pretty much had changed the manifestation, because once he started making knowledge born, right, it became a problem. The ministers, the captains, and all of them had a problem. So he was hollering at us, the 5%, like around 1963. Because from 63 to 64, by 64, there's 500. There's 500, 5% by 64. So Messiah is the first one. So we have agreed that 1963, 1010, that for Messiah, firstborn of the 5%. Are we not talking about the elders that came out from the temple with the law, and the other elders that he met on the streets, and all these other different organizations like the Urban League and all of them that was helping him, NAACP, helping them, they helping him, whatever. Mayor Lindsay and the whole 9 yards, right? Yeah, my shit cut right there. That's fucked up. That's why you can't let people hold your shit. So anyway, knowledge of wisdom. So, pardon me. That's for Elijah Muhammad, right? Theology of time. So whenever you hear that cough, think of Elijah Muhammad, theology of time, right? And so we move on to the next level of what we were manifesting within the cipher. And so he said the cipher, right? Because it's understanding the cipher. When you understand the cipher, it brings about an understanding. And so now when you hit understanding, you can go into knowledge, power, or knowledge, power, or refinement, or knowledge, that power. See, we had power, refinement in ours, but when we talked to each other, the original man in the wilderness of North America will cut it short, because we trying to get to the point. So I might say that knowledge of power. So bring about the knowledge, power, cipher. I just didn't want you to, I want you to understand the flow. So knowledge, power, cipher. Now, it's nothing wrong with having it in there or not having it in there and still not using it when we just hollering at each other, because we trying to get to the point. And stop putting the little numbers on the side. What is that? Why are you telling the unconscious our codes and everything? We do the knowledge and then put a little one next to the side. Who started that dumb shit? Where'd that come from? I don't bear witness. I don't care. They don't gotta know. If you want the babies to know, then teach it to them. Don't be putting the code all online and everything. What the fuck is that? I don't bear witness. Whatever. So, anyway, back to the cipher. See how I didn't feel that, right? The God know, bro. You know what I'm talking about. You know how I get when I don't feel. And it make me think of that tape, Otisville's tape 2. Start making me think, why was motherfuckers holding that out, holding that back? But I'm not going there. That's a different road, but it's still dealing with Almighty God, Allah, right? So, by 64, there's 505 percenters. And they moving into 1969. So, in all actuality, we, as the 5%, had him from 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. But the European, because he was in the development part in the beginning to when it starts in 63 and goes to 64, and because it was manifesting itself as it was growing, and the 5% were learning because he was becoming organized in the teachings of how we were teaching it to each other and to the unconscious to bring them into consciousness. So it, through growth and development, it grew into what it grew, what we see today. But in the beginning stages, it was the father making it changes and growing and this and that and the third, yada, yada, yada. And then after that, you see the other part of the growth and development after the father leaves in 69, physically leaves. And then you see the 70s, that change over to the 1970s. So from 1970 to 1979. Now for me, I'm consciously aware of not 76 either, because I'm getting groomed. This brother from Chicago, he is introducing me, because it's not even 76 then, because you're talking 76, 77. God, yeah, I gotta be like 78 that I'm just getting introduced back to Leviticus 11, pretty much Deuteronomy and Leviticus, but the idea is to be emphasized on Leviticus 11. We're going at that hard, but I'm still not doing it. I'm activating the knowledge back to it, not talking about from birth. Okay. From conception, air particles in a clot of blood attach itself to the uterus wall. From that particular point, for me, I'm at knowledge of self in the womb as far as dietary law and what they're dealing with from the mind, especially at that level in that time frame. All right, and so now you go to 9 months in the womb, and then you're born. Right, so now you're born, and then from knowledge to born, and then you're not on the physical plane. But 9 months in the womb, the next 3 months you're on the physical plane. That gives you your full year of the 12 months through all of the zodiac. So when you first come out, you only been on existence for 9 months in the womb, and now you come out on the physical plane. So that's your first birth, is coming out of the womb. Your next one is you did 12 months. So that would be 3 in back of it. Right? So then that's the next birth. That's the physical birth that I came out, and now I'm looking around. I took a breath. Pa, 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 pa. I'm not getting oxygen and this, that, and the third in the womb. The stomach digestion, the stomach brain hasn't woken yet, and the brain is awoke by then. The heart brain first, then the brain second, and then the stomach brain opens up when the lungs suck in oxygen, and you put your mouth on the nipple, and the milk go in. Boom, the third brain woke up. So that's that birth. See, they ain't telling you that. And then you got 2 years on breast. So you're supposed to remember these things. You got 2 years on breast, so that liberation of graduation from from suckling, that's supposed to be a big thing. All right, and plus circumcision if you're a boy, that's supposed to be a big thing. 12 days, 8 to 7 days. The God law is dealing with 7 and 9 completion, right? 9. And then we went to 12 for the Jews, and we hit the zodiac with that, and that also brings you back to the first degree in the 140 or 61. It could be 61 too, right? So when you're saying it in that manner, then you know you're talking to God, Cipher, divine and equality, Asiatic rule, truth, he or her. Right, really truth, her. That would be the real manifestation if we was going to drop it. Because we would have been saying it fast and quick and getting to the point. So we would have said equality Asia or Asiatic. But more than likely the gods would, back then, I know how that's what we would have said. We would have said, oh, the equality Asiatic. or the equality Asia rule truth her, right? And so I don't have to explain that. You should know that if you know and understand. If you don't know and understand, then you get with an enlightener, and then you will know and understand. That's why I say, don't be giving it up. Don't be telling. I don't care if they don't know. Oh, we gotta keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple. Keep it right to the point. Knowledge, this wisdom, and bring about a what? An understanding. Well, today we've been understanding of what? The cipher, bringing about an understanding. I don't gotta explain after that. That's it. Get this understanding. So, we traveling into the understanding, right? And then the manifestation will born its what? Self. You let it born itself. Just bring the manifestation. It's like bringing the horse to the water. You don't make them drink. This is not... the colonizer make them drink even when they ain't thirsty. Right? You give them set times to eat. You say something like, well, you got to have breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you didn't have breakfast, then you need to have a brunch, and you have dinner and supper, and in between snacks. And yeah, so when is the balance? Like 6 and 6 is the balance. You got the first 6 jewels, and you got the last 6 jewels. And so the scale is on the middle, Libras, the balancing scale, right? So how you balancing your shit? Do you have time when you're doing your digestive tract, the brain in your digestive system, that brain that talks more to your brain and your cranium than your cranium brain talks to your brain in your digestive system. And so we know this to be true, that they teach you 1, but we know there's 3. That's deep, right? That you have 3 clusters of neurological accumulation in these certain spots in the physical composition called heart. I guess diaphragm would be more where it would be at, but really it's dealing with your digestion, stomach, pancreas, gallbladder, spleen, all of that. It's really dealing directly with that. And then you have your cranium, you up in there. The soul, remember Noble Ali said the soul was inside the brain. So man is not the body nor the soul. Those are just clothing. Don't get spooked out on me. It's just clothing. You use to manifest on this physical plane of existence, which is made manifest. We see on the physical plane of existence. Reality is here for us right now. When you leave this physical plane of existence, nobody ever came back and told us what's going down. So you'll find out. I know that you're going to return to where you were before you got in that physical body. Now, they say return to the essence, the all in all, and all that. You can look up all of that heavy science if you want to go in there and find out where you at. But I'm talking about where we at right now. It's like bring it up to now so that the youth can understand what's going on with their physical composition. They're in that physical body. It ain't no God in it. You're in it. And you are a piece of the 360 pie. In other words, the one God divides into any number infinitely throughout the universe, right? Okay, now we're going to leave that alone. We're going to come back down to the planet. And so the timeline, that's more like a timeline. It still comes back to, did you understand the cipher? If you don't understand the cipher, it changes the timeline for you. And people who have their understanding of what is going on, they see that timeline. They don't see the timeline you see. You might see something like, will tell us what and how the devil is made. So immediately when the manifestation of understanding the cipher is born, and I say tell us what and how the devil is made, you have a timeline in your brain. Okay, you quote 120. The unconscious don't have a timeline. So you have to bring them to the timeline. You have to find out where the unconscious is at so you can bring them into consciousness. If they're laying in a horizontal, you got to bring them to a living perpendicular on their what? Square. So they know and understand the science behind everything in life. We will transform the convolutions on our brain by putting W.D. Farad and Elijah Muhammad on caps. That's what's happening. And so now you study our academic people. Most people start out, if they're in the nations, the most visible one is Malcolm and Martin. They start looking at what they said and understanding what they taught and their words, especially when they was just about to go to the next level and the European took them out. That's like their most crucial points, when they just go from one point to the next point, right? So with Malcolm is when he went from 120 to 360. He was going with a 360, but the devil was all inside of the Asiatics movement in those days. You wouldn't be in the position you in now. Think of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they did that same thing with the knowledge of self movement. People growing up and getting knowledge of self and going to college and being educated and understanding that the Europeans' historical facts are all lies. And so when people understand the truth and they see the reality of the planet, of course their consciousness changes. And once they realize that the Europeans been telling straight up lies, not no mistake, he conjured up the lie. He fixed it so that it would be that way. That's when you understand the cipher. And then once you understand the cipher, and you at the point where you understand the devil is made from the original people by grafting and separating the germs. Doesn't just mean on the physical plane. Remember now, the original people were making albinos long before Yaqub. How would he have known that it was there? It's already been documented that we make the European. Because we make albinos. Every nationality comes out of the lamb's wool. And now we gave them everything. We gave them culture, creed, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness. We gave them every one of those jewels. We gave the world that. And look what they do for payment back. I mean, think about it. What did they give us for payment back? You know what they gave us. See, I don't have to tell you, because I don't care which Abrahamic ideology you pick up. Because if you're in the wilderness of North America and you lamb's wool 9 out of 10 times, you one of those three. You either down with the Hebrews, Yahweh, you down with Islam, the Muslims, or you down with the Christians. If you in America, who else you down with? Now, there's different understanding to Christianity and the sex, and there's degrees to this and blah, right? You got the Protestant movement and blah, and the 1555 to now, and then you got Asiatics that's in that movement, but they kind of have a segregation of the Asiatics versus the Europeans, but you got to understand it. You got to see it for what it is and what it isn't. And so we going to go to the traveling of the understanding. Because eventually what happens is you understand the cipher, right? And then you go to what were the laws. Because Yaqub with his laws on birth control separated the brown germ from the black germ and grafted it into white by destroying the black germ. So in the black man's body, there exist two germs, the black germ and the brown germ. Yaqub with his law on birth control separated the brown germ from the black germ and grafted it into white by destroying the black germ. Well, after following this process for 600 years, the germ became white and was no more original. Also, by thinning the original blood, the germ became weak and wicked and was no more the same. Thus, this is how Yaqub made devil. Now, that would have been Elijah, right? Because W.D. Farad would have said, and he wouldn't have added understanding the cipher. The father would have said, born cipher, understanding the cipher. Because born cipher and understanding the cipher. So if you born in the cipher, you must be in 120. So if you born in the cipher, you going to say, tell us what and how the devil is made. But if you understand the cipher, you'll say, tell us what and how the devil is made. You see how it's redundant? That redundancy is correlating, giving you two correlations of pieces of information and knowledge as accumulated facts that gather together, that you correlate together, that gives you a memorization code. So when you see 90 and you see understanding the cipher, you know, tell us what and how the devil is made. Right? Thus, this is how Yakub made the devil. Right? So after following this process for 600 years, the germ became white and was no more original. Also by thinning the original blood, the germ became weak and wicked and was no more the same. Thus, this is how Yakub made the devil. So now, go back now. Let's go back and look at understanding. Because if we hit understanding cipher, we got to go see the understanding. What is the diameter of the planet of 7,926 miles? So now it's this wisdom. This will show you how the mathematics is right and exact. So if you look at God cipher divine, which that'll be the first mathematical equation that you'll see, is God cipher divine. And God cipher divine itself does born wisdom equality. So you can't make this correlations up. God is God. The cipher is knowledge in the power. So knowledge in the power in God, and then divine. That come out to be wisdom equality. You feel me? So also that's going to correlate to zigzag zig. You see how your convolutions will start developing. You'll become cognizant. You'll have deductive reasoning. It changes skills because your mind is seeing things that it didn't see before. Let's keep it traveling, right? So remember that. That's the correlation. If you go all the way back to your mathematics and you say God, cipher, divine, add that up, long math. Don't go short math. Because that's more numerology. Go look up numerology. They always do that short math because they don't want to add it all up in the numerology world. But in the mathematical equation, we teaching the babies how to do long adding and subtraction. We want them to see the number lines, all three number lines, not just one. We want them to see the knowledge of wisdom and what the understanding. Because if you're going to create numbers, you need to go from you. If you're going to create numbers in the real world, everything's really going forward. The only people that deal with the minuses is Yakub, and then they dealt with illusion. So you can't even deal with understanding that Yakub was doing 360, but doing it at a negative 360. And in that extra 6 degrees is like he did 720 degrees in the wrong direction. So it ended up being 726 degrees. But he's off 726 degrees because he's on the number line. Now the zero's in the middle because you got 1, 2, 3, 4 positive and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 negative. Keeps going that way. So he went 720 in the extra 6 degrees, the illusion. Boom. See, that's why you need that number line. How you going to understand your own first degree in the 1 to 10? So that's why, what is the diameter of the planet Earth? And look at that shit. It's 63. So that's going to bring you right to divine. Right? It's going to bring you to divine. There's no way you're not going to see in 120 equality understanding. Once you see equality understanding, right? As Under would say, right? Quinoa, quinai. Yeah, quinai, because quinoa is some food. But anyway, he would say, you knowledge me? I remember he used to say that all the time. You knowledge me? And so, when you look at divine, it comes out to be equality understanding, right? So, now, let's look. Let's go back to equality understanding. Because this is how it's astonishing how it works like this. It's just killing me that equality understanding be born in itself. So if you go to equality understanding 120 lessons, it's going to come right back and say to you, not only is divine telling you that the understanding, so it's saying divine understanding, isn't it? Because if equality understanding comes out of divine, then they're the same. So equal, divine equals equality understanding. Equality understanding also equals the understanding, because if it didn't, why is it in 120 as the understanding? And then the understanding is what is the diameter of the planet Earth. And where's the next correlation? God born, wisdom, equality, miles. And God do born, wisdom, equality. So that shows you that correlation. So you're telling me when you get that correlation, now you know you ain't gonna never forget that. It's too much correlation for you to forget it. It's going across. You feel me? Well, as he said, you knowledge me. So we keep traveling. So you can't do understanding the cipher in the knowledge culture. Right? You can't do in the knowledge in the culture. Right? And 120, knowledge in the culture. Right? Because it's the knowledge to the knowledge in the culture. And you got the knowledge to the knowledge in the culture cipher. Right? So, yeah, and I remember Dumont and would say, oh, don't cut it short, say culture freedom, and we would, yeah. And then when he would go away, we'd be like, man, we ain't saying it the long way. We're going to say it the short way. So we're going to go right to that understanding. So by going to the understanding and the knowledge, well, we would say the 1 to 14. Boom. We were like, so going to the understanding and the 1 to 14, so they would record it. So even if we would say in the knowledge culture, right, that's really taking up. And the 1 to 14, right? Because we just did the understanding cipher. So we go to the understanding, we going to go, why do we let the half original man like Columbus discover the poor part of the planet Earth? Immediately in my brain, I think of Ivan Van Sertima, and I think of John Henry Clark, and I think of Dr. Ben, if you're talking academia, and I think of J.A. Rogers. So, you get J.A. Rogers, all of his books, get all of, I can't talk to you right now, Lloyd. So, get all of J.A. Rogers' books, get all of Dr. Ben's books, get all of Ivan Van Sertima's books. Dr. Henry Clark does a lot of those introductions and editing and opening speeches and lectures. Get them. Get those men. For academia, they are on the top of the line when you talk about showing and proving who the original man is, right? And so we know and understand these things because, man, that shit threw my whole shit off. I don't like when that happens. That's not cool. Oh, we was doing the knowledge over here. All right, so I thought we lost that whole thing because that call came in, and I looked at the other. That's what that pause was. I'm like, what the hell happened? Right, so I could have went into that call, but I couldn't go in right now because I was in the middle of my thought. But since you took me out of my thought, which is crazy, man, I'm doing something right now. I'm trying to do this, trying to hold this class, and you call it breaking the thing. Not good. Yo, Lord, listen, knowledge and wisdom. I'm in the middle of a class, man. I got to get back at you. Peace, God.
Yeah, that's short call. Hit me later and get your rest, God.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Yeah, so, where was I? Right. So, we go back, right? So, look, say you was thrown off like that. That just threw my whole, I didn't even know where I was, but you know the day's mathematics, don't you? Right, so once you know the day's mathematics, you be right back on point no matter where you at. If you go back to the understanding, because once we hit the understanding cipher, remember, if you hit cipher, you're going to go power born. Because once you hit cipher, you're going to see power born. We go to 59th Street Circle. Right up there in the Manhattan, 59th Street Circle. Boom. So that's cipher and 59th Street. Heck, you could have went to that lesson too. You could have said, oh, I'm gonna go to Power Born, right? I'm gonna go to Power Born, and I'm gonna see what Power Born, the correlation of Power Born, and right away you're gonna see what is the meaning of Captain Lieutenant, or CAPTAIN and LIEUTENANT. That's how we used to say it. And here we go, Captain and Lieutenant. Duty of the captain is to give the orders to the lieutenant. Lieutenant's duty is to teach and also train the private soldier. So you automatically knew right in back of that came MGT and GCC, because you would be like, and what does it mean MGT and GCC, right? So those type of manifestations automatically would make you think of 13. If you went Power Born, which is the cipher, circle, and then you went to understanding, knowledge, understanding. Knowledge, understanding gonna make me think of the master. Who's the master? A master. You see, that's gonna take you to your alphabet if you're trying to figure out. Like you might say, well, I don't know who the master is, because you knew you don't know who the master is. You don't know you the master. Remember that movie? I'm the master. So you're the master. Believe that. Well, belief shows doubt, but you need to believe it right now so you can get to a body of accumulated facts, so you'll know and understand that. That's when you hit the next level, when you know and understand. Pardon me. When you know and understand these knowledge and this wisdom, bring about our understanding. And then, well, like I was saying, so we was hitting the understanding the cipher. So 9 out of 10 times, you probably wouldn't have went to the cipher. You would have probably went straight to the understanding, because that's what we would do. We would go understanding the cipher, and then automatically you would get to the understanding. Especially if you're in the beginning, right? You're in the beginning and you trying to really get this, you might go understanding. It's a mental picture one draws of knowledge, wisdom, to see things much clearer for what they are, visible through the old seeing eye, which is the mind. Understanding is the child. And then the cipher is the completion of the circle of 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And then you bring those together to understand the cipher, but you just be repeating that if you went back in that, unless you're going to take it to the next level and go somewhere else with it to prove that point, right? But basically what you would be doing is bringing it back to the day, so that you could empower yourself on that mathematical equation in real time. Like today, not 1934, right? You would be trying to deal with what's going on here and now. And that alone will take you to be, if you do that, if you deal with here and now, and what's going on with the here and now, you will automatically elevate yourself into the master. And so once you get into the master, master is one who possesses 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The equivalent of Lord, He, King, Father, God, that is I. Also one who knows the ledge of His understanding, enabling Him to manifest a culture which is I, God, to knowledge, understanding. Now that's my word is born. And you bring that back to the knowledge and the understanding, that's going to make you see the what? The culture. That's why you need the long math, because with the long math, you get to go places like King, Not Cipher, Wisdom, Lord, Equality, Divine God. Equality going to give you born equality. You won't get to see born equality if you keep cutting your math short, because you're going to stay at 6. Right? You're going to stay at 6. First you're going to be at 15, then you're going to be at 6. And that's if you went all the way across and went to 96 and went to 15 and went to 6. But if you go the other way, you'll start up with 11 and go all the way down to 2. You didn't already went to being a wisdom, myself, divine, cipher, master. Word is born to the Father. Now, I'm not going to be no wisdom, myself, divine, cipher, master when I'm a king, now, cipher, wisdom, Lord, equality, divine, God, equality. Like the God said, knowledge this, wisdom, myself, divine, cipher, master, bring about understanding. Right? So, where was we at? So, made me think of the old days, son. That's how we was born. My word is born, man. We wasn't playing with this. This was not a game. Right? right? So understand the cipher. C is the knowledge, wisdom, being born again, and clear picture, which will be the understanding. The C is to be equipped with sight, both inside and outside. C is the cream that rises to the what? Top. Now, in the lesson, it would have said C is the cream. It would have had a period at there. But since we knew the other part, because what it is some stuff was in writing, and most stuff we were getting was verbal. So we had already quoted, and the cream will rise to the what? Top. But that ain't, the degree didn't say that. That's the manifestation from Allah. When you say to the what? Top. And we didn't know where that was coming from when we was first getting it. And then when we started doing our research and we listened to the Otisville tape, we was like, oh, that's where that come from. That's why we say that. All right. So, right. So we had the understanding. So definitely we do to understand, we need to do Cipher as a person, place, or being, a circle that consists of 360 degrees of a cycle of life. C, I, power, her power, I, C. That's how we used to born it, right? That's how we born it right now. We still born it like that, right? And then we take it back. So that would have been like, I could have just ended the whole today's mathematics that way. I'm saying, because whoever's getting ready to go next, now they going to born it. They going to born it. But basic rules. It was basic rules that we all use. Like, you might say today's mathematics, and then from there, you could go where you wanted to go and correlate it, because you just ain't gonna just, like, one time we was at the guard's house, right? So the guards is in there building, adding on to the cipher, and we also watching the fight. Who was fighting that day? If I'm not mistaken, it was Mayweather and that European from Scotland, McGregor. All right. And we was watching that, so we was doing the knowledge, and everybody was building whatever the commercials and all them stupid ass beer and all them commercials would be coming in, right? So when the commercials is on, we in there building, adding on to the cipher, burning equality and the whole 9 yards, right? And then I don't know what the guard said. I can't quote what he said right now. I can't. Whoa, that's deep. That like somebody just. I'm going to buy a new skin for my drum. That's popped. Like somebody dropped something on my shit. Guess the skin after a while it starts to go bad. But anyway, I'm just making a point. That's not cool right there. I'm not feeling that. It still ain't lost its thing, but damn, I see all kind of blemishes and movements and shit in my shit. But anyway, back to the point I was making. We getting away from the story, but anyway, when we get to the point where we understand in the cipher, and that brings about an understanding. What I'm showing you is that you could go a lot of different places, but the correlation is so you don't lose track. That's your anchor. So that you could go all the way up into academia. I showed you how you could go right into J.A. Rogers, Sex and Races, Volume 1, 2, and 3. Kills Darwin and all of those stories from England and France and Germany, and that university in Germany that came up with all that racist Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and the monarch in England that helped them with the Vatican. So you got Vatican, you got London, you had that university in Germany, Guggenheim or whatever. I'm not saying it, but I'm making funny when I say Guggenheim. But there's a university from back in the days, right? I'm going to pull it up right now and look at it. So I'm going to show you that science, right? There's this university in the filing system, right? If you look into the filing system, if I'm not mistaken, it comes under racist, right? Because it's under the myth of racism. So the troubling persistence of an unscientific idea. It falls under that. And when you look at it, you see Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid. That's the root of the whole manifestation. So they use that to connect Darwin. Right? That's the tree they're using. And then they say, like they always do whenever they come up with something, they connect themselves to it, and then they go all the way back to ancient man, and they say it's them. And they gas everybody up on Earth, or as they would say in school, I can hear my mother saying, as they say on Earth, Aunt Myrtle would say that too, as they say on Earth. She was a postal worker too. And so we traveling to the monarch. We was in France, right? So France is the one that orchestrated between them and the Vatican. They really orchestrated that Knight Templar smash because they did not want them telling the people what they learned down there. That it was the original man. Oh, y'all been lying all this time? Oh, yeah, they was upset about that. They did not like the fact that they came back dropping high science and learned how to do banking and all of that they learned from going down there. They was there 100 years. 200-year war, 199-year war, which is really like 206 years or something to that effect, give or take a few coming up or down, because it went over 200 on the top part when you say 199. Well, it lasted more than that 99, right? And then in the front part, when they start off their 200, it was really before that. You know, so that's why they put plus or minus, because it really started before that, right? Look, when it makes you think it is. Okay, look, I'm sure I'm going to lead you up to that. And now white supremacists descend upon Charlottesville to wreak mayhem and murder over a statue of Robert E. Lee, shocking a nation that wouldn't be shocked if it were paying attention. All right, so they just start there and look at that, right? Because the keys to that story is Robert E. Lee. All right, now we're going to go from Robert E. Lee and we're going to take it to go get the new Jim Crow. So first you're going to go look up Robert E. Lee. And you're going to see, that's going to bring you into Albert Pike and Morals and Dogma and all of that, right? So now we're going to go back to the new Jim Crow, right? Mass incarceration in the age of colorblindness, right? That's going to take you there. So, I mean, you can't even read that and don't read the invention of the Jewish people. How are you not going to read that? It's going to take you right back to that German university that came up with Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid. They also came up with Semite and all of that. The semantics and the semantics of trying to connect Jew, Jewish, Hebrew, and Semite, and then making it Jacob, and then making Jacob and Isaac, and then going to Abraham, and then on the other side, Ishmael and Hagar, because Jacob would go to Isaac, and Isaac would be Abraham and Sarah, and then from that you would go to Shem and hit on into Noah, right? So on the other side, you're going to go Abraham and then go Ishmael, which is firstborn, because he had Ishmael with Hagar, and then Ishmael, the 12 sons, and then that's going to take you right into Muhammad, and they're going to say that's Semite. So they grabbed all your shit now and said it's them. And then they're going to say the pyramids and all the ancient things that had something to do with the original people teaching them everything that they know on the planet and going all the way around the whole. See, you look at the planet the way they split it up, but we looked at the planet as Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer and the equator in the middle. And we went all the way around that whole area. We populated that whole area. We had a world economy, a world banking system, everything that they trying to do now, acting like they the first ones did it, but we did it. Man, listen. At one time, we was hooked up in the universal banking system, in the universal market. It's just that we had so many cataclysmic extinction level events that we've lived through as a people that you forget after those kind of cataclysmic events. Shit happens. It is what it is. So anyway, you can read up on that too, but we're not going to get into that subject right now because I don't want you going too far away from the plan to kill the original man, woman, and child on the planet. plan. They feel that they tested the plan because they made enough animals extinct that they said, I think the planet can make it without them. But what they don't understand is us and the planet are like plankton, zoological and phyto-based, plant-based plankton. We're like that to the planet and them. If there's no plankton on this planet, the hell with your forest don't mean anything. Your forests mean nothing if plankton feed the biggest thing on the planet. So who's the top of the food chain? Feel me? So in the original people, they think they're the top of the food chain. They think they're the apex predator because they're attacking us. And that's why they always give the apex predators the most props. They think that the apex predators that's the top of the food chain. No, that's the bottom of the food chain. They got you, everything is in reverse. All right? They're in reverse. Why is it the bottom of the food chain? Because the whole ideology behind food is to get to the sun. So you think you closer to the sun eating an animal? No, you're closer to the sun eating a plant. You wish you could do photosynthesis. You wouldn't even need the plants. You could get sun energy your damn self. The best you could get is get some vitamin D. The rest of the energy that the sun gives this planet, you have to get it through a plant. And the plant's going to turn organic material into inorganic material so that you can assimilate it into your physical composition. And that's my word is bond. Now look at that. Look that up. You want to know and understand. That's why the problem book is so important. And you have problems as the original people. Yeah, the 5% don't have no problem. But the original people got a whole lot of problems. That's a fact. You misunderstood the lesson. I ain't quoting it right. They forgot the second degree in Otisville. You got degree 1, you got degree 2. 2 tapes. Bring about that understanding. So don't just say you didn't hear this, you didn't hear that in there. Well, I didn't hear the Father say this, and I didn't hear the Father say that. Yeah, you didn't hear the Father say the perishing desire for meat neither. And he even said, if you're going to eat meat, see that if a civilized person without performance duty, what must be done? And I quote that degree, and then come back and talk to me about if you're going to eat it, you might want to eat the split hoof and chew cud, and it's organic, not inorganic. And they gave it all kind of Agent Orange. They're going to kill you. You won't make it. You're not going to make it in the time frame that you're on Earth. It's going to be miserable. Okay, here it is, right? This university in Germany, right? Göttingen. See, I wasn't far off. University of Göttingen. Gott, Gottnin. So it is somehow the way to spell this, to pronounce it from. They also got George August, University of Göttingen. Look that up. University of Göttingen, officially. It's in Germany. And it started it's founded in 1734 by who? By George II, King of Great Britain, and Elector of Hanover, and starting classes in 1737. The Georgia Augusta was conceived to promote the ideas of racial enlightenment. It is the oldest university in the state of Lower Saxony and the largest in student enrollment, which stands at around 31,600. See, their whole, what do they call it? Anthropology, sociology, that Negro caucus in Mongoloid, when they doing a corpus delicti. Come on, you boys, y'all know about the corpus delicti. All right, and so that's the point I was making with that part, right? So here it is. Terminology and scientific racism. You can look that up. University, they keep bringing it up. The Göttingen School of False History was a group of Europeans associated with a particular style of histography located at the University of Göttingen. Everybody say it, in the late 18th century. That means in 17-something. And this group of historians played an important role in creating a scientific basis for historical racism and were also responsible for coining two fundamental groups of terminologies: scientific racism. Bloomberg and Miner's color terminology for race: Caucasian or white race, Mongolian or yellow race, Malayan or brown race, Ethiopian or black race, and American or red race. And Gotter, you're gonna have to excuse me because these German names are hard to pronounce for me. Biblical terminologies for race. Anyway, these three guys. One was named. We're gonna name the first one Gat, but it's Gatter or something like that. So we're gonna name the first guy Gat. The other guy we're gonna name Schultz, or whatever. He got one of them kind of names. And then with the zero, with the O and the two dots on top, his name is like that, Scholzer. And then Ichhorns, hey, you got me. But it don't matter what their names were. Look up biblical terminologies for race. Semitic, Hamitic, Japhetic. They made that up. It's not real. All right? And then that they connected that to black, colored, Negro, Ethiopian, and black, brown, red, yellow, white. And then first introduced in the early racial science in anthropometry of the 1780s by members of the Göttingen School of History. Negroid denoted one of the three purported major races of humankind alongside Caucasoid and Mongoloid. Many social scientists have argued that such analyses are rooted in socio-political and historical processes rather than empirical observations. However, I think I said that right, empirical. Negroid as a biological classification remains in use in European forensic anthropology. In other words, the European, the colonizers, the Americans, all of them Europeans in Australia, wherever they colonized, they all using this. And the term today is considered racist depending on what, when, where, and whom, along with the term it derived from Negro. So Mongoloid is a derogatory grouping of various people indigenous to East Asia, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, North Asia, Polynesia, and the Americas. He goes on talking about the Göttingen School of History, and this is what they made up. Caucasoid, Negroid, right? It's going on and on and on. You can go look this up yourself. 1780s by members of the Göttingen School of History, right? Anyway, it makes you think of the wisdom builder destroyed degree in the 1 to 40. What was Yaku's first wisdom claims, including all laws enforced by manufacturing the devil? So you need to look at that, right? All right. So now we're gonna go and hit the next shit. We're gonna go to the book of Duarte Barbosa, an account of countries bordering on the Indian Ocean and their inhabitants. That's gonna connect you to the Marines in India, the Himalayans when the Indians had invaded the Himalayans, those original people got. In those days, the Indians from East India was attacking the Himalayan people, trying to take it, and they call it now Nepalans. But they not the original people from there. That's like if you go to China, the original people in China is the ones with the labs. Well, they the original ones. If you go to Japan, same thing. Look at their names. Look at the root of their names. It all come from the original man. So anyway, this book about Barbosa, Duarte Barbosa, it's written back in 1518, right? Remember, our lesson was talking about 1555, so 1518 would be good to be checking out what they talking about when they say it there, right? Translated from the Portuguese text first published in 1812. So, an account of the countries bordering on the Indian Ocean and their inhabitants, written by Duarte Barbosa and completed about the year 1518. Right? You won't go into that. That's another assignment. Now, the European hates 1863 when it comes to June 19th. So we're going to look at 1863 to 1865, and we're going to see June 19th on all of those years, 63, 64, and 65. That's a nice assignment. And then we're going to, I got two of those, right? There's two of those. We're going to need both of those, right? This is going to, right? We still understand the cipher, right? Don't think you left understanding the what? Cipher. Now, where we get that from? Understanding the what? Cipher. That comes from a law. That's why we say that. People don't even know why we say that. That's why we say that. Right? Okay, I'm trying to find that other book. What I was looking for. Not Kang the Conqueror. The only reason why I put Kang the Conqueror in there because I was looking at timelines. And I was looking at that brother who's going to supposedly play it. I like his acting because he did that other country thing with the country, whatever, living country, whatever they was, some kind of country thing they was doing. Oh, I know why I couldn't find it. I was still in the racist part of what the history was talking about. But we're going to go to the books. Now, just going into the racist part, you saw that. That's what I was looking for. You have to see the Chicago race riots, which is going to automatically tune you into, if you look at the race riots, that's going to automatically tune you into Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid. You see what I'm saying? It's going to automatically take you there. And then, and that's why it's going to reroute you to the myth of race. The troubling persistence of an unscientific idea. It just keeps going back to that. It can't help itself. All right? Now, that in turn, well, once you look at those, you have to go back and look at Jim Crow. Jim Crow law passes, right? You want to look up Jim Crow law passes. Modification of the build-up measure completed. Right? That's when they talking to each other. They saying shit like that. All right. Yeah, that's what we do. Where we at now? How much time we on? I just want to see how much time we used already, so we can see where we at. How much time left in it? Well, we couldn't have that much, right? Oh no, that's not right. All right. So anyway, we out of time, and I'm gonna leave you with power equality, Allah, C equality. I wish we wouldn't have ran out of time because I wanted to show y'all a few more. Books that correlate. Oh, this is the one I was looking at. Black Genesis. You have to get Black Genesis. Just look up Black Genesis. You'll see it. You'll find it right away as soon as you look up Black Genesis. Look up that. And then cross-reference Black Genesis with Black Man of the Nile and His Family by Dr. Ben. And then cross-reference Egypt to the End of the Old Kingdom. But you're going to use with Dr. Ben to cross-reference Egypt of the Old Kingdom. But Egypt of the Old Kingdom got the good pictures. While Dr. Ben got the right information. Right? That's how you're going to bang him in the head when you do that. And then you're going to understand why. Once you see that part, that'll bring you back to understanding sundown towns, a hidden dimension of American racism, and the hidden truth of sundown towns. That's going to give you that. Then you're going to say, all right, now I need to understand the truth about the transatlantic slave trade. But you want to go to the Pope. I can't remember his name, but he's the time era is 1397 to 1455. So that's that assignment. Then, see, it just keeps taking me back to Jim Crow wisdom, memory and identity in Black America since 1940. It's just going to bring you right back to that. It's going to bring you to Slavery by Another Name by Douglas Blackman, right? And then Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. And then I just keep seeing the new Jim Crow. It just pops right back in my head. And then you're going to go, post-traumatic slave syndrome. And once you do that, now I got you where I wanted you to be at. Because that, in turn, is going to take you to where you need to be. Because now you're going to be able to understand message of the black man in America, Christianity and the Constitution, the faith of our founding fathers, which would be their founding fathers, but the book says Christianity and the Constitution, the faith of the founding fathers, right? But it's by John Edsmo, I think that's his name. Don't quote me on it. If you punch in Christianity and the Constitution, the faith of our founding fathers, which would be the faith of the Europeans' founding fathers, because they're not your founding fathers. Your founding fathers are so far back, we trace it back to a red sun, but that's when we get to the red sun area, then you could trace it back to somewhere else, to wherever it went from, wherever they were at there, and whatever, right? Because we got 12 constellations, we got 12 zodiacs, we have 12 places in the universe where we congregate and came from and did with all of these high sciences, right? The culture is Igor. 1 and 2, book 1, then there's book 1 and 2. Those are two different books. And then you have the coach's Igor, which will be coming out, which will be book 3. So in that one, it's going to be the coach's Igor, book 3, nutrition. That's what's going to be, nutrition. Because you need to take to the next level. You got your 3 levels in nutrition. That's why I took you through Neurological, Maca, understanding the Cipher, so you could see what happened. They grafted us into eating the way we eat now. It's a grafted process that they could get you to do that. So over from 1555 to now, they got us at the point where we think bread and rice, cereal, like oatmeal and all that, we think of that stuff as the staple and the foundation of protein and this, that, and a third. When our staple is supposed to be green. Feel me? Now, when I was talking to the God, I was talking to a law, right? Y'all know who you are when I say a law, right? I'm talking to you, right? And I was talking to the God. I don't want to call out names and be no name dropping assholes. That's what I'm just saying. The God's in the earth, right? We all be talking and building and adding on to the cipher, right? And by doing that, we discovered, first we discovered white rage. I mean, just keep it real, right? We discovered that first. And then we understood who the colored man is, so that automatically makes you understand the color of law. And then when you take yourself to the next level, right, you're going to go into food, agriculture. And when you go into food, that's going to change the whole ball game for you. Because now you understand how to fix the physical composition. So the first thing you're going to learn is the fast. Because remember, you're supposed to do an opening. When you come into the nation, the first thing you're supposed to learn is the 3-day fast. 3-day water fast to help clean out your physical composition and get rid of all those toxins from swine and this and that and the third. Right? You wasn't eating like Leviticus and Deuteronomy. So when we give you the 3-day fast in the opening, we're also going to give you Leviticus 11. So you can relate to the dietary laws. That's not the completion, but that's a good opening of knowledge of self of the dietary laws. Like, knowledge of self are not these books and not this, not the paperwork, not the words itself, but the action that comes from the word. The knowledge and the wisdom bring about the understanding. So knowledge of self is what you get from the understanding. You have knowledge of self now. But the tools that we use to get you the knowledge, to get you to understand, is the knowledge and the wisdom. Knowledge is the body of accumulated facts, and the wisdom is a manifestation of that knowledge. So the person to be your enlightenment will be wisdom is knowledge, and you'll be doing the knowledge to his what? Wisdom. Or her wisdom, if it's earth teaching you or if it's a God teaching you. Just assume that when I'm talking, automatically it's man, woman, child. Right? What is it, hell keto in them, like to say man, woman, child? And so we keep traveling and we see water is like the foundation. That's your staple. Don't let the devil tell you grain is your staple in your foundation. No, water is your staple in your foundation. You don't need juice, orange juice, this juice in this. Increase your water intake. And you ain't got to worry about nothing else. Start off with a gallon of water. Try to get rid of a gallon of water a day. at least until you reboot your what? System. So you got your key factors in rebooting your system, right? We're traveling through it. Now you want to change your salt to Himalayan pink sea salt and Baltic sea salt. You want to change it immediately to those two salts, right? Now, if you stick with the plan, I'm not going to go into the history and this and that and why and the third, because you should be able to do that on your own by looking at 120 lessons and go to the understanding cipher degree. That'll tell you why. All right? So I'm talking to grown-ass men that know and understand 120 and grown women that know and understand the science of MGT and GCC. And then we traveling and we want something that can heal the digestive tract, and so the good thing that heals the digestive tract and also gives you much needed sugar when it's needed, so that you won't jump off and eat some stupid shit. Get you some raw honey. Now I use, let me see if I can pronounce this for you. It looks like it's saying Manuka honey to me. That's what it looks like. But you know, it's Hawaiian word or. Oh no, this is not Hawaiian, pardon me. It's a Pacific Ocean word. I should say that, because the devil be trying to make everything his way. So anyways, New Zealand, Australia, and all that area, they have that honey. But raw honey itself will help a lot. Wild raw honey, like I got this other one called wild thyme flower honey, right? You want to use sea moss with bladder rat, and burdock, right? You want to use that. You want avocado oil. You want raw black garlic. Get the raw black garlic. And it's only good when you're chopping it up and the oil is bouncing out of it. That's when you eat it. All right? So you're going to do that. And anything that has anything to do with grain-free things, the closest pseudo cereal you will be eating is wild rice. And you're going to soak it until it all opens up. And then if you feel like cooking it, you can, but you can eat it raw. So if you can't eat it raw, you shouldn't eat it cooked. If you can't eat it raw and you're on the program of rebooting yourself, you don't eat it cooked. It's against the law. It's like eating swine, all right? Because you cannot reboot if you don't follow the program. If you want to modify and do whatever you're doing, that's on you. But don't say, oh, divine doesn't work. And then I go to your house and I look all around at everything you got. And I say, well, no wonder you're not doing it. You're not doing it. My word is bond, Lord. You're not doing it. You say you're doing it. You want to do it. You think you're doing it. But when I look at the dietary things that you put in, you like write down what you did every day. You'll see that you're not doing it. You'll say, oh, man, I'm not doing it. That's why I ain't getting fixed. Because you can't eat the right and exact stuff, but keep putting the poison in. That is not how it works. You come out better not putting any of the medicinal plants in you and just eating a regular balanced whole food diet and not putting the poison in you, and your body will fix itself. It just takes longer. It'll do it itself. But like I said, you want to make sure that you get the Celtic sea salt and you want the Himalayan pink sea salt. You could alternate those because you need salt. People be talking about they want to build muscles, but if you don't got the micronutrients and the vitamins and the minerals, the protein, your body is not going to be able to use it to make you have muscle. It needs the balanced diet to make muscles, not just protein. Every time, oh, you need all of these protein shakes to make muscles. They're lying. It's not the fucking truth. First of all, if you're using weight, you're really trying to make your skeletal muscles powerful. And as soon as you stop lifting that iron, you're going to lose some of it because automatically your body adjusts to what it needs. So it's not going to stay bulky like that. But if you do straight calisthenics, that never will go. You can take that all the way up. Now look, when they're talking about there's, what did he call it? Mucus in you. You got too much mucus in you, and the root of it is the root of all sicknesses, mucus. And that's kind of true, but it's not one thing. Don't think like the devil. The devil think one thing. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. No, it's not that. It's a holistic attack on you. He's attacking you holistically because he's attacking your whole body. Not knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, mentally, physically, socially, religiously, politically, economically, agriculturally. He's banging you in the head. So you have to think from that perspective. It's not one thing. If you think one thing, you only go in that one thing. It's like saying we want freedom, but we going to get, I don't know, 3 states instead of we're supposed to be getting from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer. See the concept changes when you got knowledge yourself. You're not thinking the borders that he created. You thinking our borders is from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer. We have to take the devil off our planet. You need to get that part back. See, that's the war Armageddon that we only 106, 107 years up to 180 years independent of the precision of the equinox. Because if you talk about 15,000 to now, 106, 107, 108, something like that. 108 years. So you got about 900 years left of this 1,000 years, which in the eyes of Allah, Yahweh, Creator, God, whatever you want to call it, the manifestation of yourself. The original people, 4 billion, 400 million. 1,000 years is a day to that nation. You follow me? Now we getting somewhere. So, if you want to look at the books that the people who know and understand, who actually founded that group in these modern days about mucus, the lessons and the teachings and the books that they read, Arnold Herod, I think his name is Herod. He's like one of the first people in our time frame that wrote books on that. So if you get his books, from there, if you get African Holistic Health, How to Eat to Live, book 1 and book 2. The other books, I'm going to tell you about them as they come across my mind as we build it and add on. Remember, when they talking about keto, you can modify that because all ketosis is them trying to hijack How to Eat to Live. My word is gone to the Father. They just robbed Elijah Muhammad. We're going to call it a keto diet and we're going to have one called healthy keto and I don't give a damn keto. Right? I said keto. You fucking with this ketosis. Like I said, you don't want any grain, no starch, no soy, no dairy, no sugar. And if you eat animals, you want to eat animals according to Leviticus 11. And if you're going to eat animals according to Leviticus 11, you're going to have to make sure that they're organic or you're going to still get poisoned. And don't listen to these foods talking about, oh, it ain't that much of a difference in this. Yeah, that's the ignorance. That's like saying ain't that much difference in 120 and Supreme Wisdom. See, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Because I'm a goatee. You know, because after you've been in the game as long as I've been in the game, man, I don't give a fuck now. I don't care. You get mad, I don't give a fuck. I just seen too many of my people going and leaving Earth because they want to do processed sugar instead of getting some monk fruit sweetener. Right, classic white sugar replacement. They ain't going to do that. They'd rather go buy some devil sugar and eat that. He gas him up and tell him, oh, I'm going to give you some brown processed sugar. You'll be all right. You'll be dead. That's what you'll be. So, we're going to keep traveling up, right? Because we know that agriculture is the key to making knowledge born and bring about that wisdom. Oh, I thought the time frame was... Oh, we good. I thought we had... I'm looking at the wrong numbers. All right, we still got 15 minutes. All right, so now we got enough time to throw this in, right? So you want wheatgrass, barley grass, moringa. I think that's how you pronounce it. Chlorella, spirulina, and boba. Those 6, if you got those 6, and you go on a water fast for like 3 days, and so you're going to be trying to move a gallon a day. While you're doing that, you're going to be trying to put those in the water. That, what I just said, you're going to try to put that in the water. So if you want to like do it in a convenient way, they have a convenient way of doing it. What you do is you go get Amazing Trio, barley grass, wheatgrass, and alfalfa, right? And I'll tell you how you get it. So Amazing Grass, called Amazing you're gonna get that. See, I'm gonna give you the blueprint. That way you don't have to do all the hard work and look it all up and try to figure out what the hell going on. You know the God got you. And then you're gonna also get it. That's the amazing trio. But where's the other one? For backup, you're gonna get wakame. Get organic Pacific wakame. Natural gluten free. That's gonna save you money because it's seaweed, but it doesn't have that salty sea taste to it. And it only take a little bit, maybe a palm of your hand, and you throw that in the water. About 10 minutes, that shit gonna blow up. It's gonna be like a whole meal per person. A palm of your hand will feed a hungry child. Like a 14-year-old that plays football at 6 feet. It'll feed that motherfucker. That'll be the vegetables right there. Bam! He won't be hungry for no greens. He'll be full. And he'll eat it because they taste good as shit. Well, not good as shit, but they're good as a motherfucker. Word is bond, man. Tastes better than cooked food because you can either heat it up and make it cooked, or you can eat it raw like a salad. But you gotta put it in that water to be all crunchy. I guess you can eat it crunchy too, like potato chips. That'd be real little, man. But if you make it, you can chip it off into your salad already, like on them chips. It's fucking crazy because you can use it in so many different ways. And so now you could cross-reference that with the baby spinach and the baby agrilla and the bok choy. That's what you're going to use when you want to put it in your mouth, beside the juicing, right? And then you're going to get this other one. I'll tell you what you're going to use for the morning. When you get up in the morning and you want to put something in your stomach so you can go the whole 8 hours at work without putting no food, you get that Superfood Maca. It's called Superfood Maca Daily Green Tea Powder Blend. You want that blend because that blend is going to make everything right and exact inside the physical composition, right? Yeah, this blend is off the chain, Lord. My word is born to the Father. Okay, so you want that. All right. And then, you know, I always talk about getting the Irish moss. You can get that in a whole bunch of different ways. Right? Get that Irish moss. There's one company called Raw Organic. All right. Bare Organic Superfood to nourish your life. They got the good, they got the chlorella, they got the Irish moss, they got all the different sea things because the sea vegetables are so important because they're going to make it with your B12 and all those kind of things. Your gut biome is going to be able to create it itself. That's it. They don't want to tell you that your gut biome, actually, every mammal on earth, their gut biome really creates the B12. Because even if there was some kind of animal or fungus or something that was in the ground, that was in the soil that the cow was eating, when that shit went through 3 stages in their stomach and they're chewing the cud and pulling the food back up and then chewing it, nah. All that is going between their saliva and the stomach acids. Come on, man, they could digest kale and mustard greens and collard greens raw. You can't. You barely can digest that shit after you cook it 100 years. That shit's slave food. That shit's slave food, but actually it's livestock food. You're supposed to supplement your grass-eating animals that you're going to use for food with kale and all that shit y'all think you're supposed to be eating. That's for them. Mustard green, collard green, all that shit they made for us for slaves, that's what you get in. And then all the potatoes and all that kind of shit, roots. All roots really go for the hogs, because they root eaters. They really root eaters and carrot eaters. You can clean up your farm with them motherfuckers. Anybody dying, you don't know what they died from in their farm animal, you let that motherfuckers eat it. You let it die out and go dry out and everything, they don't give a fuck. Right? It could be bone, they gonna try to eat that too. Alright, so now we go to the next level. Oh, we don't want to miss the good stuff, because I'll just keep dropping this. And I'll miss the part that I wanted to get to. Because it's so vast. It's like 120 goes all over Earth and then comes back to where you were at, and then goes to the universe and comes back and this, that, and that. All right. So, okay, look. Here's some nice keys, right, for you. Knowledge of self-nutrition relies on cutting out inflammatory sugars. Knowledge of self-nutrition eliminates inflammatory grains. Knowledge of self-nutrition removes inflammatory fats like omega-6, vegetable and seed oils that cause oxidative stress. Knowledge of self-nutrition can reverse insulin resistance. Plant-based nutrition is great at healing leaky gut. Plant-based nutrition increases nutrient density. There is a fascinating notion that you get more nutrients from vegetables than any other source of foods. Raw plant-based diet simplifies eating. Raw organic fruit and vegetables, seeds, and nuts provides the body with the fuel it was designed to eat. Plant-based nutrition helps autoimmune conditions. Raw organic fruit and vegetable seeds and nuts. Right, I already said that. Right, reverse insulin resistance. Knowledge of nutrition relies on cutting out inflammatory sugars. Right, I already said that. All right, so now people be having this craving and in their mind is bread. So when you want to do bread, because I don't want you doing bread rebooting especially. But later on they got a bread for you, but if you was not eating eggs, then you wouldn't eat this bread either anyway. So but these are people that are still in that stage. So it's bread that you can eat would be called base culture, right? Base culture is paleo. You can eat a lot of things from the paleo people. Not everything because they don't follow Leviticus, but they do follow organic. So you have to kind of read between the lines. You know the devil is, truth or falsehood, strangely mixed, like the noble prophet said. All right, so now you got people that, oh, I just got to have my rice because I'm an old rice eating ass nigga. You're killing me. But anyway, they got this thing called banza. It's rice made from chickpeas. Now, chickpeas is not part of the rebooting system. This is after you have been rebooted already. Then you can add that in your diet after you have rebooted. Now, if you're doing it and you're not rebooted, that's on you. You might need it for the craving, and then you're trying to get away from rice, so you're using that to help you get to the point where you want to get to. You can do that, and most definitely you can do that. But I would suggest, if you want to eat rice and not do any damage to your physical composition in the rebooting stage, that you're going to reboot, because there's certain things you have to do to reboot the system. You're going to need the not the black rice, pardon me, wild rice. It is black, but it's wild rice. All right, that's what we're going to do there. All right, I'm trying to give you a complete manifestation. That's why it's taking me longer, because I'm going through it, and I don't have my new Mac yet. And I didn't buy the Final Cut Pro and all that's going to come with it. So the Mac I have with the Final Cut Pro and all that is just too much for a 2010. So I'm not able to put all the slides up that I normally would extensively on you and put everything up. So you're going to have to look this stuff up yourself. But I'm giving you the actual fact and the solar effect. Now, what you want to add on to, anytime you want to deal with a root that is not going to damage you, you want to do Maca root. You got black, red, and yellow, depending on what moves you're making with them, right? So let me see. The red one, red considers the rarest type of Peruvian root. The multi-tasting red maca provides the most antioxidants out of the 3 varieties. Kills prostate cancer and helps bone density. Let me see here. Black maca is thought to have a sweeter flavor than yellow maca, though not as much as red maca. There are many similarities that red maca shares with yellow and black maca. All right, let's look at red maca. Considered the rarest type of the Peruvian root, right? Black maca, also referred to as a natural Viagra. Okay. Black maca is a particularly potent variety when it comes to increasing sperm count and sperm mobility in men. For this reason, it can be beneficial for couples otherwise unable to conceive. It's also great for working out, lifting weight, iron, and everything. Because you know testosterone, sperm, all that go together with muscle. Rah! Good voice. You can talk. You're a man. So, we showing you ways to build muscle without using the devil's method. All right, here it is, the yellow. The yellow maca type has a tangy taste, and the powder made from it has a light brown color. This variety comes with its own unique set of benefits, benefits, including the ability to increase fertility in women and relieve menopause symptoms, doing a great job at balancing harmony in the woman's body. Oh, that's why they had it as knowledge, wisdom, understanding. They had the knowledge as the black, the yellow as the wisdom, and the red as the understanding. Okay, I can build with that. So now you see why they, okay, so the yellow Macas really deal with the woman, and then the red one is mostly with children and men. But in the math, the knowledge and the understanding was air like that. And then she has different needs, because remember, she carries seeds, she got a womb, she has period stuff we don't have to deal with. They get that cold flash thing when they get the change of life. You don't get that. So she needs things that you don't need, and you need things that she don't need. And then vice versa, some things y'all need the same. Like y'all both need to not have grain. Right? It says, the vegan knowledge of self diet is a low-carb, high-fat, moderate protein diet that excludes all animal-based food. But you have to be careful when it says vegan, because then they might trick you and give you test you like soy protein or those Boca burgers and all that, which is really just grain and which is really is just wheat. And they might give you tempeh, or they might give you tofu, some kind of soybean that makes your body think you're killing it. So it's not a natural food for man, woman, child. Let me see. Oh, here's what I was looking for. Dandelion root. That 20 to 1 extract. Right? Man, you gotta get that. That's that shit. And organic dusel flakes. Gotta get that, Lord. My word is bond. Because you want to get these toxic metals out of you, like cobalt, arsenic, nickel, copper, lead, cadmium, and mercury. You want to get that out of your body. Everybody got it in us. They banged us in the head for years. We all got it. That's why you having fail-safe things happening. Diabetes, hypertension, fucked up brain, can't think, going insane, getting kidney problems, all these little cancers and lipomas and tags. All that is out of sync protein cells that are reproducing and folding and misfolding, and they're on a growth spur. You need to shut their growth spur down by stopping food. Don't make it so full in there. Like, go on the fast, empty them cups. Them cups are too full of sugar. They can't do it. The body can't do what it needs to do. So to help that along, you're going to use turmeric, devil's claw, Mojave yucca, that root, rootin, citrus, but get the citrus from that African fruit, that boba, ginger. Those should be, that should pretty much bang them in the head. I wish I had my slides up. I could really show y'all some real shit. But the slides would be adding on to the cipher. But testosterone killing foods is like anything processed is killing your testosterone. Let's do 20. Soy based shit, that's killing your Johnson. It's putting you in a bad position. Soy milk, all that, anything soy is doing you, and I said that. Soy is not on the list. And all that microwavable meats and meals and packages and pre-packaging, and when you start eating clean, when you open up them packages, you can smell the poison in it. You can smell it directly. You be like, man, how did I miss those smells before? Well, it's like if you were swine eating, when they cook the swine, it smells so good to you, but when you don't have those parasites in you that call for you to eat it, it smells horrible. You have no idea. That shit'll choke you. Right? That's like all them shrimp and crab and mussel eating, crustacean eating motherfuckers that acting like they writing exactly, and that shit's correct, making all kind of pictures and doing all kind of dumb shit. How people just do the craziest shit. See, they think that's rich food, rich people food, lobster and steak and caviar and all that. They eating all that. They trying to eat like the European, chasing after God, the Europe that they know nothing of. Now, of course, knowledge of self, we know that ain't like exact, but what can we do with the unconscious that's right in our family that's doing it? We can't do nothing. You can't really do nothing. If you put them on and you young, they might throw you out the house. Believe this. People, especially Christians, they don't want you challenging white Jesus. because the churches as a whole, Ebony and all them big churches is all, they not saying Jesus is black. Get the fuck out of here. They not saying that. And they be acting like, go listen to their Jesus song. Maybe the new rapper ones, they know Jesus is black. But them other ones are singing that regular gospel music, Pentecostal, Baptist and all that, believe that they got white Jesus in their heart. They some white Jesus motherfuckers believe that. That's why they be mad when I be saying Christians don't have a dietary law. They immediately get mad. But you don't have a dietary law. You just say you can eat anything you want on earth. God made everything. You can eat anything. All you gotta do is pray over it. So if that concept says all poison animals and plants that I eat, if I pray over them, I ain't gonna die. So are you praying over that liquor before you drink it and it poison your ass and you be all drunk up and wake up with a hangover? That's that. Your body's gonna filter the poison out. But some poisons don't get filtered out unless you put something in it green and it takes it out. It'll stay there. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we're gonna move on to the next level. I don't want to be like I'm dwelling on you motherfuckers. Because personally, I really don't give a fuck. I'm only held responsible for man, woman, and child within my cipher. I teach the other people because they family and they the nation. They the gods in the earth. Of course, I'm gonna put them on. I'm definitely put me on in my family. I'm put us on. Now, if you outside our family and you hear this and it's making you attracted to it, then you know that divine said, damn son, you need an enlightener. You need to get somebody to walk and talk with you with this. The gods that are far away will hold you down. Divine will hold you down. We'll hold you down. But we definitely looking for you to get somebody right with you to walk and talk with this, right? Because that's how we all got it. At the end of the day, we all got it that way. Even if you think you didn't get nobody walking and talking with you, you probably, I don't know, you lucky if you got it right. If nobody's walking and talking with you, because they not, I don't know what to say, but I just know the rule and regulation is you need to walk and talk it. You need to walk it and talk it and give it like you received it. Don't be changing shit. What else do I got here? Okay, I think we're going to close out because we just about out of time. Like I said, get those amazing trios. That'll hold you down, man. You could drink nothing but that for 3 days. I bet your physical composition changed. If you did amazing trio with just water, not no sink water now. Do not drink sink water for God's sake. Right? Remember that movie with Godzilla? Sink or tap or not tap? That okay. Get that point. No tap water. Doesn't work good on no tap water. Oh, that's a good. Instead of drinking hot chocolate, drink cocoa. Cocoa. Whatever. Organic powder. I might not be saying these African names right. Because they twisted me up too. I'm an English colonizer, lamb wool person. Right? I don't speak too much in nothing else but English. I speak that very well. Read it, write it, speak it. What? Start trying to talk to me in Spanish. I don't even know what you said. Saying it real fast or whatever the case may be. We talking like we talking right now in the whole conversation. I ain't catching none of that. I'm shaking my head because I'm going along how you laughing with it. It's like when them brothers be from the island. They got an accent, Jamaica. I got family. I don't know what they're saying. I know they saying, oh, I like talking to Divine. He listen. Because I don't know what you're saying. But I ain't going to be kidding saying, what you saying? Can you repeat that? Can you slow down? I'm going to roll with you, son, because I got you, because you're my people. It don't matter what you said, really, because we just letting the vibe go, right? All right, so here's what I was looking for. The Life Science Health System, the Life Science Institute. Yo, if you really want to be a nutrition person, not because you want to teach it, because you want to know, you want to teach it to yourself. You want to know that course is no joke. Trust and believe. That shit was like what I did in the Army. When I took that anatomy and physiology class in the Army to become a paramedic, yes, it's like that. It's deep like that, Lord. It's deeper than that. But I'm saying the equivalent is like 65 credits worth of medicine, worth of anatomy and physiology. I think it's worth 85 credits in an accredited university, like Columbia, one of them, Washington State, UW, one of them nursing schools, one of them. It's like that. It's like at least 85 credits. If you read it and you know medicine, you'll be like, shit, that shit like a goddamn 4-year degree. I thought it was 120 credits. When I saw it, I said at least it's a. If you specializing in nutrition, you should read that, boy. You better put that under your belt and keep referring back to it because it's that deep. All right, so we're not going to dwell on that because I'm not trying to make all these fools rich. But the people who wrote those books know what they're talking about. I'm telling you, I can read through the lines. You got to know and understand what's the fake and what's the real. If you know and understand what's the fake and what's the real, you can do this. It won't be hard. You just have to start off with no grain, no starch, no soy, no dairy, no sugar. If you really want to reboot faster, no animals. Okay, you might say, oh man, I can't cold turkey that way. You can. You can replace all of your protein with the major three. Anything that got anything to do with you eating animal protein, I'm going to show you. You can trade it in. You could do this. Macadamia, Brazilian, almond, pecan. Those are like the top. Oh, walnut. Those are your top 5 to replace all your animals. And then your seeds will be pumpkin seeds. Will take you to that next level for that side, for your seeds, right? This is when you're rebooting. This will do your rebooting. And your green, you need your agarula, however they say it, agrula, any of that, right? We make a little tongue twister. Spinach, agrula, whatever. I hate saying words, and I got it twisted, and I don't got time to look it up and see how you pronounce it so I can pronounce it for you, so I'm trying to give you this with the quickness. Yes, we mispronouncing words. It is what it is. Sorry, people. I'm from the hood. Just went to school, but I'm from the hood. And I didn't eat no agrula. I ate spinach. I didn't eat that. I didn't like it. But when you saute it with some little bit of olive oil and some sea salt, man, that shit tastes good as fuck. I didn't even know it tasted that good. I was like, damn, that shit is good as a motherfucker. And I'm not really a green type person. That's why I started off with the grasses and everything. But then I seen spinach green and raw. It tastes good. It's not bad. I don't know how they come up with that canned shit. Because if you doing canned spinach, yeah, you ain't gonna like it. All right, so what's a low glycemic? Blueberries are very low glycemic. Don't eat beets in the rebooting stage. When you're at the 3rd stage, when now you're just maintaining and you're talking about a longevity, I'm going to eat this way for the next 20 years. Then you can add beets in sparingly. Because remember, they're pretty much sugar. By then, you should have rebooted your system if you're going to add them. Now, you can eat avocado from the opening. Almonds from the opening. They'll help you reboot. Macadamias, they'll help you reboot. Spinach will help you reboot. Sauerkraut, organic sauerkraut will help you reboot. We already talked about the Himalayan. Now, there's other pseudo cereals, but you're not going to eat those until after you have rebooted your system. Now, you say, well, how long does it take to reboot? It's different for everybody. Some people didn't have a lot of poison and they're young, so they could reboot in 90 days. When you at our age group, that shit might take 2 years. I haven't fully rebooted because remember I've been doing it for 2 years, this rebooting system, but I had to go through trials and tribulations. Everything I'm telling you, I didn't learn it in the opening like I'm giving it to you. I had to trial and error and I figured it out, and then I said, oh, this works good for people with knowledge of stuff if they do it this way, because we have certain stringent, like we can't eat crabs and shrimps and lobsters and all them animals that's under the ocean and all that. We can't eat that. So certain things we got to replace the devil's food with our food, because it's not that he replaced our good shit with his bad shit, and now we're addicted to his bad shit. So now we got to go over and so to make our mind at ease, you need the equivalent. So you want lemons, you want coconut, raw organic lemon, right? Turmeric, ashwagandha, chlorella. Matcha green tea, mint. You want these type of things, and you add these things into your diet. Now, pure synergy barley grass. That way you could have stuff. You don't have to really do no studying until while you getting healing. You might not have the time to do all this research that we did to get to this level. But I'm giving it to you now. So they got this thing called Cell Force. I used it. It was pretty good. But there's replacements for everything. So raw organic Irish moss, excellent. Golden milk powder, excellent. You could use goju berries, but not in the rebooting stage. They're not going to help you reboot. They're good for longevity when you sustained your rebooting and you building muscle and whatever. In the rebooting stage, you can have maca powder. You can have wheatgrass. You can when you really want to do real hard fasting. I suggest the wheatgrass with the fiber in it. But if you want to go to the next level when you're in your fast and you just want some wheatgrass juice powder, you want the juice powder versus the wheatgrass because it won't have the stem in it. It'll be them squeeze the juice out and it's just the juice. You throw it in some water. It won't suck up the water the same way it does with the fiber in it. So you're going to have to need a blender or something because it'll be sitting there all floaty, getting on your nerves when you try to stir it because it'll get those bubbles in it. You know what I'm talking about. I can't emphasize enough about sugar, but they have a degree on it called Sugar is Toxic. You can get that. And with that, yeah, you know about the fasting, 1 meal a day, 3-day fast at the end of the month. That's it, pretty much. Peace, divine understanding, born of law.